Okay, so in the Bible, there's also a big old fish.
Right, big fish.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's that guy doing?
All right, so you're talking the fish that's swallowing Jonah, I assume is what we're referring to.
Yes, because that story is bizarre.
Okay. It's an interesting...
Is this a metaphor book?
Okay, so this is so this falls within prophetic literature.
Okay, so it's not real.
No, didn't say that. It falls within prophetic literature.
Okay.
And most often in prophetic literature, they are referring to real events. Okay? So in other words, the individuals that are prophesying, Daniel, Ezekiel, like they're real people in real locations at real times, prophesying about things that are about to happen.
And this one's Jonah.
This was Jonah.
Okay.
All right. And so
this is the only story we hear about him, right? That's what his whole thing is about?
Is what?
We never hear about him before or after this.
We never hear about Jonah. Okay, well, that's actually not true.
Oh.
All right. So we know that Jonah is actually referenced in other Old Testament literature. Okay.
Oh.
And then we know because it refers to so the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. And we know Amittai is a real person.
Okay.
Okay.
From what?
What book was that? He is in
a different part of the Bible.
Yes. So he's So he's Old Testament. He's Old Testament literature. I think it's in one of the Chronicles.
Okay.
Yeah. So Amittai is mentioned, and so
in one of those long lists of names that you skip every time you read the Bible.
Some people skip those long lists.
No, everybody does.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people do. Most people do. And so we know Jonah is a real person coming from a real, as a real dad, right? And then Jesus actually refers to Jonah later on.
Okay.
All right. So let me read the verse about Jonah, and then let me read the verse from Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So in Jonah chapter 1, verse 17, the Lord appointed a great fish to swallow Jonah.
A great fish.
A great fish.
That's what we get.
It's a large fish.
Okay.
Yes. To swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. And then Jonah chapter 2, verse 1, and Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish. So Jonah in the belly of the fish, 3 days, 3 nights, and we know he's praised to God, and he ends up being spewed out at some point.
1 star would not stay here again.
Right. Yeah. Yes, correct. If he was giving a review of it,
yes,
of the location of the accommodations, not thrilled.
Went to sleep, woke up somewhere else.
Right.
Traveling hotels suck.
They can. All right. So in Matthew, back to the story.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Matthew chapter 12.
Unicorns.
Verse 38. No. Large fish. Jonah. All right. So it says, then some of the scribes and Pharisees said to Jesus, "Teacher, we want to see a sign from you." And he answered them, "An evil and adulterous generation demands a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was in the belly of the huge fish for 3 days and 3 nights, so the Son of Man will be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. The men of Nineveh will stand up at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at Jonah's preaching. And look, something greater than Jonah is here." And so
him.
Yeah, Jesus. Right. And so Jesus is referring to Jonah and is saying that just like Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days, 3 nights, so will Jesus be in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights.
What is the first? If what? Like, why are we a deceitful generation or whatever?
Oh, okay. Like, so when it refers to an evil and adulterous generation, demands a sign, but no sign will be given it except the sign of the prophet Jonah.
Okay.
I don't know. So, like, what he's saying here is, like, you're demanding a sign, but the only sign I'm actually going to give you that you're going to actually
is that you're going to be stuck in a fish
recognize,
for 3 days.
No, is that Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days. I'm going to die. What he's saying here is, I'm going to die, be buried, dead, and then I will rise from the grave.
If I'm a horrible person and only look for or demand a sign from God, that's the sign I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So if I demand that God show me a sign, he's just going to refer me to the department of Jesus.
to the department of Jesus. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's and we see this issue of, well, I know we're getting off trail now, but we see this issue of people wanting and demanding signs. Paul addresses it in 1 Corinthians, for example.
Okay.
And he says, you're always wanting a sign, right? And so
you just go to Jesus.
And
is that what he's saying?
Yeah. Ultimately, he's saying is there is like one sign that is above all signs, and it's that Christ died and that Christ rose.
Okay.
So that's actually the only sign you need.
So it's not fine, or it's fine to demand signs from God.
I mean, you can demand them, just realize you may not get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask for them?
You can ask for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask for a whale?
You can ask for one. Yes. Okay. You can. Sure. You can ask.
All right. So what's up with this fish?
All right. So yeah, getting back to our boy Jonah. So Jonah is actually in a fish, and so the issue obviously always like questions. You know, number one, what kind of fish was this?
Exactly.
And then
that was going to be my first question.
Right. And then number two, did this really happen? Because could someone really survive in the belly of the fish?
Right.
For that long? Right.
Right.
And so number one, and so some people will hear about a whale, right? You know, and it's just because we use the word whale because we're trying to describe a large fish.
Right.
All right. And so, and we know
even though whales aren't really fish.
Whales, yeah, I don't know. Are they not?
They're mammals.
They're mammals.
So they're not fish.
Yeah. Well.
So they lie.
Yeah. So it's not a whale.
Right.
Okay.
Which means it also couldn't be a dinosaur because those are reptiles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we got fish here.
Yeah.
And so the idea of that
there's going to be some exceptions out there, and someone's going to say something.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're destroyed. All right. And have fun with that. All right. So verse 17. So the Lord appointed a great fish. And I think that's kind of the big deal in all this is that the Lord actually appointed this fish to be there, to swallow Jonah.
Okay.
And eventually to spit Jonah out. Like the Lord set all of this up. The Lord arranged all of this.
Okay.
And so can the Lord create a fish that's so large that they can swallow a person and the person survive in the belly of that fish for 3 days, 3 nights? Yes. The answer to that question is yes.
How would you get any sleep?
You probably wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't think you're sleeping much if you're in the belly of a fish.
And how is the fish not eating you?
Yeah, like, that's a whole other part of it, right? Like, why is there not the digestive qualities going on here, right? Like, why are they not being fully digested and and broken down? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The Lord obviously appointed this fish, created this fish for this purpose, and so yeah, and I just believe the Lord can do that, and so that's what the Lord did, and I'm good with that.
So you don't care what type of fish it was?
No. Doesn't bother me in the least.
Okay.
At least now, I know that there are some individuals, because like, for example, there's been some stories recently, or like a story recently, like where someone was actually swallowed by a whale.
Okay.
And actually was swallowed, was there in the well for a while.
Was this to prove the Bible's true?
And then, no, they were trying to prove nothing. They just literally got swallowed.
Okay.
And then spit out. But they were only in there for like, and I say only, I mean, it was like 45 minutes or something. That'd be like a horrifying 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And, but the dude survived. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the story of
So this
of
isn't
Jonah.
some weird fish.
I mean, it's probably.
I mean, it's kind of weird because God made it specifically or appointed it specifically for this purpose. Right. So that makes it weird.
Yeah, that makes it. I mean, and think about how large the fish would probably have to be.
Right.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to
like, could he walk around in there?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if Jonah's like having to be like curled up or if he's like, just hanging out.
Because I feel like if you were in a whale
running around,
you'd be like laying flat and just stuck.
You could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what if like Jonah's like figures out like, all right, I'm not dying. I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, do you just start like running around and having fun and like jumping off of things and
playing racquetball?
Right. Set up a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
could it talk?
Could the whale talk?
Yeah.
Or the fish? I used the word whale. Yeah. No, I don't. There's no point in here where like the fish is talking to Jonah.
Okay.
Or Jonah's talking to the fish. Like they're not having a conversation.